So Sony has officially announced the release date and the price points for their PlayStation VR2 headset. So starting with that release date, the headset itself will launch on February 22nd of 2023, with pre-orders starting on November 15th. Now, the interesting thing about the pre-orders is that you have to do it directly through Sony via their PlayStation Direct website. So on the 15th of November, you just go to direct.playstation.com and you can begin pre-orders there. I believe they're actually starting registrations for pre-orders today. So you have to register just to get an option to pre-order, which is nuts. Now, getting to the price point, hold on to your butts here because this is where things get kind of nuts. There's the base model, which is the headset, as well as the two VR2 Sense controllers and a pair of stereo headphones. That's going to retail for, hold on here, $549 US, which, yes, that's a lot of money, but we will get a little bit deeper into that discussion towards the end of the video. And then there's a second option, which is a bundle. So it's going to have everything I just listed plus a voucher for Horizon Call of the Mountain. That's going to retail for $599 US. So obviously this is very expensive. You're paying more for the headset than you are the console. But for me, $549 US, that's just too much. I'm not going to spend that much on something I'm probably going to use a couple of times and then put away in a closet and then never really think about again. They also did announce some new titles that are going to be launching after the headset itself launches. So there's stuff there from the Dark Pictures anthology. It's like a roller coaster shooty type game. There's a new Jurassic World game that's going to be on there. There's a new version of Hello Neighbor. There's one that sounds kind of interesting called After the Fall, which takes place in a post-apocalyptic Los Angeles. That's going to be a co-op shooter. So there's some interesting looking things there. However, the games that are going to be the system sellers that are going to, get people excited are obviously going to be Horizon, which is bundled in there already, but Resident Evil Village. There are people out there who still haven't played Village purely because they want to experience it the first time via VR. And don't get me wrong, Village is a great game. Playing through on first person is great. I have yet to go through the third person mode, but when you play those games in a VR space, it's literally a new experience. So even if it's a game you've played multiple times over, the moment you put that headset on, it's going to be a completely new experience, and it's probably going to be really, really fresh for a lot of players. So those are going to be the two system sellers, in my opinion, that are going to get people interested in this VR headset. Now, back to that price point. Obviously, this is a lot of money. Again, you're paying more than the console itself, and then when you bundle that with the console, you're spending well over $1,000 for VR, which sounds like a lot of money, and it is. But based on some of the research I've done, and I've looked into a lot of like VR enthusiast people out there that have really just ingrained themselves in this kind of culture and tech, according to them, this is actually a pretty reasonable price, especially when you take into consideration all of the tech that is being squeezed into this headset. There's the haptic feedback on the controllers, there's the feedback on the headset itself, the 3D audio, the advanced eye tracking features. The actual lenses themselves are an OLED screen. I believe it's 2000 by 2040 per eye, so in total it's like 4000 by 2040 in terms of its HDR high resolution. There's the cameras that are in there, the IR sensors, the microphones. So there's a lot of really expensive high-tech stuff being squeezed into this headset. So when you really think about it that way, $549 does sound kind of reasonable, especially if you're going to compare it to the higher end, more advanced VR type stuff that you would use on a PC, like an Oculus, which I think is now called Quest. There's the stuff that Valve was working on. I'm not too immersed or ingrained into VR. The furthest I've ever gone with VR is using a Samsung Gear VR headset. So that's the extent of my VR knowledge and experience so far. So it's a lot of money, but you got to take into consideration that this is going to be something that's way more accessible for a lot more people. You could spend $1,000 or more on a really powerful gaming rig that can handle VR, plus who knows how much, 600 plus, maybe 1,000 for a VR headset on the PC side of things, and now you're over $2,000. So would you rather pay $2,000 for a VR experience or about $1,000? That's really up to you, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see how well this headset actually does at this price point. Because for most people like myself, again, that's a lot of money. But according to these VR people out there, it's a pretty reasonable price. So that's pretty much the video. I am Curious Corduroy. Please leave any of your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys think about this new PlayStation VR2 headset? Are you interested? Do you plan on getting one? What do you guys think about the price point? And is there a game in particular that you really wish to experience in the VR realm on this headset in particular? Leave those in the comments below. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.